morning, my darlings.
Good morning.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. We have an awesome show lined up for you today, so stay tuned. And don't forget, we are the hottest show on the network, and this is how we do it. Don't touch that dial.
This is how we do it.
There you are. Welcome to the Kelissa in the Morning Show. I'm Jay Parker sitting in with Kelissa Bass, your host. So we're so honored that you decided to make us a part of your morning by tuning in. And so on behalf of the WAEC Love 860 family and the Kelissa in the Morning Show family, I say again, welcome and good morning. Well, we got a power-packed show lined up for you today, but before we get into the meat of that show, we're going to go ahead and give honor to our sponsors. I Am Life T-shirts by TNT Creations, where the feeling of life begins. To Bufoy. Hope you're listening. We love you, girl. Greater Works Mission, headed by Candace Ruffin of Katy, Texas. Awesome, awesome ministry. And A Step Above, where it's all about you. Gently used washers, dryers, sofas, and chairs. Hey, Keith and Jane, hope you're listening. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to be talking about success. And so we have a speaker, a pastor. He's highly educated, and we're going to get with him in just a minute. It's a surprise because this guy is power-packed. And so, but first, before we get into the show, first of all, the topic of the show is the power of success. And our guest is Oscar J. Dowdell-Underwood, Ph.D. And so we'll talk to him in just a few minutes. But I want to talk about how we can impact the community. This has been a long year, and a long year full of loss. Lost a lot of friends this year. Either it was to drugs, or drug-related crime, or a senseless crime, just happenstance crime, but in our communities, and we look at the state of our community, and we look at how we can impact it, but we don't do anything. And we got young men out here that are committing, brutal crimes, from the snatch and grab to the they're carjacking people. Man, we got to grab our youth. We have to grab them by the belt. And we've got to instill in them what our parents instilled in us, and we got to get back to the word, because these kids are out here lost. Okay, so you don't have a husband at home. Man, you find a man in the neighborhood that's respectable, and ask him if he will spend some time with your child. And for the females, you see your child going the wrong way, take them under your wing and show them, teach them. Don't assume that they know, because they don't. Anyway, I'm not gonna ride my soapbox today. I want to give special honor to Skywalker. Skywalker's in the house, my engineer, and he does a great job for us. But so we're gonna get into the heart of the show, the power to succeed with Oscar J. Dowdell-Underwood, Ph.D. Are you on the line, Dr. Underwood? Oh, he's not on the line? Oh, he's coming. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about what we could do with our children. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go. And when he's old, he'll come back to that way. So you got to give your child a chance to grow into himself, into herself. You got to let them make mistakes, but you have to monitor their activity. I was a latchkey kid too. So my mom worked 12-hour shifts as a nurse. And so it was our responsibility to do what she said. But she instilled in us that respect and that honor, and responsibility. And so if you don't give your children anything to be responsible for, they won't be responsible for anything. So just a nugget. Anyway, The Power to Succeed with Oscar J. Dowdell Underwood, Ph.D. Dr. Dowdell, are you on the line? Dr. Dowdell Underwood? Dr. Dowdell Underwood?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. We're waiting for Kelissa. You know, this Atlanta traffic is,
Yes.
oh my God. Where are you located?
Indiana, about an hour and a half north of Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, the traffic in Atlanta, it's you know, you never know. You know, it's like, okay, I'm gonna give myself an hour and a half to get to work today. You know, and then you get in the car and you're heading down 285, and bam, there's an accident.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
45 minutes to your minus. And you might lose your job. Just saying.
Well, it sounds like she's got help. She's got you there, so that's good.
Yeah. You know, I'm a taxer too. Shoot. So we're going to talk about you.
Okay.
We are going to talk about what you're doing, and I'm going to toot your horn for about 5 minutes because I got about 20 pages to read on you. I was like, oh, Lord, I'm going to need an oxygen tank after this, but that's okay. Dr. Oscar Dowdell Underwood is an educator, author, motivational speaker, activist, and pastor. He holds a BS in elementary education from Indiana University, an MS in educational administration and curriculum development from Indiana University, a PhD, and EDS, wow, in higher education leadership, administration, and foundations from Indiana State University. He loves Indiana State, y'all.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He was named the first African-American Indiana Teacher of the Year, and his life's work is centered on educating students and eradicating educational inequalities and disenfranchisement, particularly among young African-American men. This determination and passion has resulted in many distinctions, including being a sought-after conference speaker and education consultant. He is also politically active, challenging educational policies that marginalize students, particularly poor and minority students. He believes that all children deserve the dignity of an excellent education. Dr. Dowdell Underwood is headmaster of Cornerstone Christian College Preparatory Day and High School International, founded in 1991. The school is an accredited kindergarten through 12th grade independent coeducational Christian day and high school. Cornerstone Prep prepares its students for global competitiveness in all academic spheres, with the student body being 94% African American. The student body holds an internationally recognized legacy of academic leadership excellence. Cornerstone Prep stats speak for themselves. 99.8% graduation rate. Wow. College acceptance. 0% acts of violence or involvement with the judicial system. Wow. 0% drugs and alcohol involvement at school. The school is operated under the Underwood model, learning via the power of environments of self-image and self-esteem. As an acclaimed author, Dr. Dowdell Underwood testified before the United States Congressional Committee regarding his education strategies for maximizing achievement among kindergarten through 12th grade students. His proven pedagogy, say that word for me, Doc.
Pedagogy.
There you go. There you go. He said it for me. Is outlined in his first book, Assassination of Human Potential, Vindication of Broken Women Who Possess Deep Wells, The Samaritan Woman Principles, and one of his newest books, Bumblebees Can Fly, Empowering Young Men of Color, where he challenges post-secondary institutions to maximize the scholastic achievement of collegiate black males by engaging their inherent power, need, and desire to succeed rather than relating to them from a deficient perspective. In 2002, he founded Cornerstone Christian Bible College International, a continuing education adult learning institution affiliated with Destiny Dome Embassy Church, where he co-pastors. Woo!
Thank you, my friend.
Man. Oh my God, let me clean my glasses. Wow. That
we know where the
is
glory
impressive.
goes, though, don't we?
It's all to him.
It's
All to him.
man. He's just using us, bro.
Man, I tell you. You're a busy fella.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you balance the education piece with co-pastoring and pastoring? My goodness, how do you do all that?
You know, I have to always remember, like we just said a second ago. You know, always source it. The power is coming from Him. The strength is coming from Him, and the purpose and the grace has been given by Him. Mm-hmm. And so it's just part of me being me. You know, as you walk in purpose really refuels you and retools you and refreshes you, mm-hmm. and it energizes you. You know, purpose and the dreams that God gives us in order to fulfill that purpose actually is a thing that gives us the strength, the supernatural strength,
right,
that otherwise we wouldn't have.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I was talking to one of my friends this week, and he's like, "Man, I'm tired, but I got to keep on grinding." I said, "You need to get in your word. You know, the word is health to the belly. You know, it's health, it's strength."
Yes.
And like you said, that supernatural thing, boy, when that thing kicks in, you know where the end of you is and where He begins too, don't you?
Man, that's dangerous where you are right now, because that's the point where grace really kicks in.
Yes.
I mean, that power is there, man, to cause us to do what he said in Ephesians 3:20. Now, unto Him that is able to do exceedingly and above and beyond all that we might ask or think, but it's according to the power being able to work in us.
Yes.
And the power can't work until we realize it is not of us. We can't do it. We are His instruments, man.
Right.
He chose us in His benevolence to use us for His glory. And the thing that really motivates me and pushes me is that I look at the things that are happening, or I look back at the things that His grace has done in my life, and I say, wow, God, that could have never been me.
Right. Isn't that amazing? He's amazing. You know, I remember back in my old Air Force days, I used to sing in a group, and I remember rehearsing and saying, "Man, I could probably hit that note one time in 100." You know, and boy, when we get out there and the Holy Spirit would get involved. Boy, when that note would come out, and I'd be thinking to myself, I know that wasn't me. You know, so where'd that come from?
You're looking around to see exactly where it came from, but you know it came through your voice, but it wasn't you.
Right. I'm like, was that one of them background singers? He said, yes, sure was. It was the Holy Spirit pushing that thing on through.
Yeah, and He's working, man. God is working today, my friend, like never before. When we need to be really careful that we don't curse and pressure. Without pressure, there is no demand on the awareness of personal power. Right. That pressure is there to tell us, not to tell us what we can't do, but to tell us what God already pre-wired us to do.
Wow.
And that's part of what the message in this book.
Right.
He's already got us fixed, man, for it. It's amazing, and I almost got this shouting, man, right here. This morning before I called you, God was talking to me about our ancestors. He said, Oscar, do you realize when you wrote this book, you didn't realize that I was giving you a paradigm for you to share with the world, that your ancestors left you all, the free slaves left you all, and that you all need to go back to that paradigm and tap into it, and you'll begin to walk in what they saw, what they dreamed, that caused them to run and do the things they immediately did up in 1863 upon emancipation.
Wow. You know what? And that's amazing that you say that. You know, we think back about the struggle. You know, the young people of today, they've got a lot to deal with. Mm-hmm. But could you imagine dealing with slavery and dealing with the hope of a better day, of equality and prominence, you know, and looking around saying, wow, I can't have that, but I'm gonna lay the groundwork for my
future generations
to have that.
Good morning, Dr. Underwood.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you? I was listening to the show on the way in, and no, you're not going to text me.
I don't know, I'll find a way.
I was like, you wait till I get there. Talking all this stuff. But anyway, I'm so happy that you are a guest on my show today, and I'm really excited. I was listening to you, and oh my gosh, you have done so much. You are doing so good, and everything that you're saying is just so encouraging to me because I have a teenager. He's 13, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, I want to get this book because I'm trying to figure out what kind of information can I get to try to, get him to, I don't want him to end up in the system,
Yes.
and I just feel like I need to figure out what to do now because, with especially our young men, they're, when they don't have fathers in their lives, you try to figure out what to do, what to say, how to do this, how to do that, and back in the day, you had a grandfather or uncle or someone that stepped in, and now it's like, no one really cares anymore, So when I read about your story, and I had another Dr. Alexander, who was on the show, he has a Saturday school for boys, and you and him both have the same stats, and I would really like to get you guys to, together to talk, and so I really love what you're doing. Yes, I know, and he's opening up a Saturday school out in where I live, and I just think when I read your bio, I was just like, wow, okay, see, this is good. This is good.
That's interesting because as you were talking, I saw, and I was going to ask you maybe something we can talk about in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you to maybe look up and pray about maybe bringing a few of us in together, and for us to do like a symposium just with those young men.
Yes.
And their moms or dads, whoever the family members are, to really have them like even on a Saturday.
Okay.
On a Saturday, for a few hours, to really make them aware of what we're going to discuss this morning, and what you said that you've discovered in talking with the other gentleman.
Yes. And I will. I did emailed him and told him about you, so I'm sure he's listening. But I wanted him to call in as well to speak with you because you guys need to hook up. This is what we really need.
It is. Yep. Dr. Miles Monroe, my mentor, my spiritual dad, one of the greatest things that he taught humanity was that the potential of the thing is in the thing itself.
Right.
And that's why I was just talking to your assistant about that this morning during my devotion time, and I was preparing, for our time with you. How you go back and you read even what you've written, because you didn't really write it.
Right.
It was written through you.
Exactly.
And as you go back and you begin to read it again, then you hear what you had not had previously heard. And the thing that blew me away today is that it was so obvious. The 5 environments that we talk about in the book that is part of the Underwood methodology and what I've done over the 44 years and the last 26 years with C-Prep, that is part of the environment that the kids, that all people need to live in, but the kids need to be educated in.
Right.
Those 5 environments that they were actually, I understood that they were, that I was motivated by what Maslow had done. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like bottom is the physical needs of food, and then he goes up the ladder, then to security and safety, and then to the need to belong, to be loved. And relationships, and then up to that 4th step, he goes to the need for esteem, for dignity and respect, and then the last one is self-actualization, which is what the whole book is about: unlocking the inherent power in us in order to fulfill the dream, live the dream, to fulfill the potential that's been given to us, and to walk out what our ancestors had prayed for us, what God has shown them that we would be able to do, and the purpose for which God had created us. But this morning, Kelissa, what I saw was our ancestors, my God, that move of God, when God freed them, they didn't run, even though they were promised land and a mule. They didn't run to plant. They ran. They, in other words, what they did, they didn't go down to the bottom and walk up the staircase. They, by the move of God, they saw in faith, they were already at the top of the staircase, self-actualization. So instead of what what their legacy they left us was that we need to go to the point where we have the dream and the vision to our relationship with Christ and what our ancestors saw for us, and we began to not ask for that power. We began to simply embrace the power that God has already placed in us to be everything, do everything, have everything.
Because we have that power
that He ordained from us from the beginning. He said, according to the power that's working in you,
Right.
He already put us in us.
He already put it in you when you got here. You already had it. And a lot of times
So what our ancestors did, Kelissa, as you and I know, they ran to build churches.
That's right.
And put schools in those churches.
That's right.
That's
where
what
the
you did.
HBCUs came from. They understood that the power was already in us, and so Maya Angelou's one of my favorite parts of that poem is, and I say it all day long, bringing the gifts that our ancestors gave. We are the hope and the dream of the slave, and so we rise.
Rise, that's
We
right.
already have it in us.
That's
and
right.
That's what's going to save our young men, our young women. That's going to save not only our society, it's going to save the world.
The world.
Because God put that genius in them that you don't have to beg to do this. I've already given you the power. And that's the legacy they want us to embrace.
Right,
Wow.
right.
And you know what? And my pastor always says that God built the beginning from the end, and
Yes,
that's why
He
He
did.
treats us the way He does, with such compassion and the fullness of love, because He
Yes.
knows who we're to be.
He knows who
He
we
knows
are.
that finished
Right.
product. And so when you down in the ditch, I'm doing drugs and running the streets, and God is having mercy on you and
Yes,
gives
sir.
grace and favor, and you're
Yes,
going,
sir.
Lord, why are you treating me this good?
Because He's trying to tell us that there's more to us.
That's right.
than
That's right.
What we're aware of. And once we find out the truth, the behavior will change.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And when we're born, Dr. Underwood, we were already born as winners.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's like and then you get sidetracked by life experiences, addictions, all this kind of stuff. Nobody, someone forgot to remind you that you were a winner when you got on the scene.
Yeah, and we use the word like they're cliches. We're more than conquerors. No, it's
Come
not
on.
a cliche.
Come
We're
on.
more than conquerors. Okay, a conqueror will go out and conquer and lose and conquer and lose. But if you're more than a conqueror, you win every battle.
Exactly.
You win them all.
And it starts in the mind.
Yeah.
You have to know
Yeah.
this.
And so you win those things spiritually. You might fail in this natural life here, but the
Yeah.
spirit world, we're perfect.
We're actually perfect here,
perfected.
too. We just have to realize
What
that.
does Ephesians 1 say? He's already blessed us with every
There you
spiritual
go.
blessing
That's
in heavenly places.
Absolutely.
In Christ,
Yep.
and Christ is in us.
That's
and
right.
we forget to tap into that
Already in
thing.
us. That's go back to the book and the inherent power. It is already in the thing.
Yeah.
Because God saw from the end, from the beginning, He knew exactly every pressure, every challenge, every obstacle, every time we would fall. He took care of all of that.
Preach, Doc.
He assigned purpose to us. But what we
I
have
love
to
this.
do, we've got to bring that awareness back
That's right.
everywhere but inside.
That's right. That's right. What the Holy Spirit speaking through, Doctor.
I know.
Go
And
ahead,
I'm
Doc,
feeling
man.
goosebumps over here.
Go ahead, break out your Bible, man. Let's just have a sermon there. Shoot.
And I love it. I just love it because it's like it's time, and it's gonna come a time when people are gonna really realize who they are.
Yeah.
Come on.
And we've got to early, we got to tell our children, okay, so if you got a 14, 15, 17-year-old kid and he's out there and you go, hey, man, so what you do today? But I saw you out there hanging with them boys selling you whatever on the corner.
Come on.
And so you need to pull him into the room, take some time.
That's right.
And pull him into the room. Don't go and watch, The Empire. Say, okay, I'm going to sacrifice Empire for my child.
Right.
Say, it's time for us to talk, Junior. Come here, man. Do you know that you're great?
Exactly.
Do you know that
Come
them
on with
boneheads that you're hanging out with, you can lead them? Because they got a ring in their nose. They think that that's going to get them ahead. And so
we gotta start pouring these positive
you
thoughts.
can lead those
That's right.
boys.
That's right.
Be a
What
leader.
does the word say? My people are destroyed for what?
Lack of knowledge.
It's the truth.
That's right.
If they, like that young man, I tell our boys and our young ladies all the time, you cannot go back and help those that you love if you remain like them. You can only follow when they see transformation that's taking place in you.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's that shock. It's like, wow, man, you're totally different from from last year. What happened? And they won't tell you, but they'll be thinking, man, I want some of that. What is that? Man, that's the Lord. That's what the Lord is doing with me.
And it's pure pressure. But if you can get all of them together, to realize who they are and change. My son, I promise, he has clothes in his closet that are new with tags still on them, and he wants to wear these clothes. That you're representing me when you go out here, so I'm taking him out of that school. I'm taking him out of that school and putting him in another one after December because I don't want him to go down that road.
Right. Yeah.
And so the Saturday school, and when I hear about what you're doing, and I'm gonna get that book for him to read, and it's just.
Yeah.
It's time,
They're leaders.
You got to do something.
Born leaders. If you're more than a conqueror, then you're a leader.
Yes, yes.
And you can by the guidance of the Holy Spirit, you can teach others how to be a leader.
Are leaders.
We're leaders.
Yes, everyone is.
Yes.
You wouldn't have life.
Right.
You were born to make a difference.
That's right. And everyone that came through the doors of life, God gave them a talent or ability or something to do something with, to make a difference.
And that's why the book, and you all already know this. I did not write this book with any intention of selling so many books. I am not concerned about that whatsoever.
Okay.
God is
I wrote
good.
the book because I knew there were too many kids all over this country in places where I would never physically meet, whose parents, whose teachers, whose friends needed to become aware and help them to be aware of the fact that if God placed an ability in a form of an instinct, in an insect, in a bumblebee, to override every limitation that he built the bumblebee to have. He knew that the bumblebee's body would be in opposition to the law of aerodynamics. He knew that the fat body and the little wings would not be able to generate enough lift to be able to override the power of drag. But he said, listen, I'm going to give you those things that you think will work against you, but I placed a power in you that will cause you to yet become everything I ordained, not because things around you change, but because you tapped into the power in you to do what I created you to do.
And everything that God creates does what it's supposed to do.
Come on with it.
Except for man.
Exactly it.
You're like, what is wrong with us?
But God's going to have his way.
Right to. See, go back to our ancestors again. They immediately did not run and have a counseling session from all of their struggles.
Right.
They immediately took personal power and they addressed their struggles and let their struggles know, I'm going to confront you and I'm going to do something that my seed in me will not have to deal with.
Right.
We have to understand that whatever we're dealing with individually or corporately, it's because there's power already in us to be able to self-actualize and produce and rise above it.
Wow.
And they have to be so educated, like Dr. Anthony Alexander was saying. He teaches them about, they have to know about the law. They have to know, what their rights are. They have to know that, there are certain systems put in place to stop you. But if you believe that the power that is within you
Yes.
is more powerful than anything, then you win.
And it's very simple. Because the only thing Jesus told us to do was believe. He said, simply believe.
That is it, my
That's
brother.
it.
That's
It
what
is
he
not
said.
rocket
And
science.
I have boys and young ladies who have graduated from this school, and guess what? Where the law might have been, some individuals might have intended to use the law to stop them, they're now practicing law. Attorneys. One is an attorney in one of the top 10 law firms in California, and there's another one that just passed the bar, a young man that used to be a gangbanger, who just passed the bar in Indiana.
Wow.
He looked at those opposing forces and said, now.
Right.
Take that.
and there's millions and millions of others out there. That's why what we're doing collectively and what we're doing individually is so crucial. Awareness is a tremendous gift. God places treasure in dirt. In dirt. Don't curse the dirt. The treasure's in the dirt. You find the oil in the dirt. You find the gold in the dirt.
The diamond
in the dirt. He placed the treasure in the dirt.
That's right. That's right.
That's amazing. He did, didn't he? Wow, that
love
is amazing.
this.
Well, we don't want to disclude our listener audience, so we're going to open up the line for callers. If
Yes.
you want to
Okay.
give Doc a call, 404-355-8699 if you're calling from Katy, Texas, or somewhere like that. 866-923-2860. Give us a call. Facebook Live, we love y'all.
Yeah, love you guys.
So, wow, that is absolutely amazing. So, we're looking at China, Jade Felice, Barfield, hey, y'all.
Rakia.
Anthony, Rakia, hey, y'all. So, Doc, we're looking at our Facebook Live. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing?
Oh, my goodness. Hey, guys.
We're multitasking over
I know,
here,
right?
man.
This is
But
awesome.
God
So,
is so
I love what you're
good.
doing.
Oh,
I really
God.
do.
In
I mean,
you,
it would
yeah.
be nice to just have a big university that parents just send their boys to.
Yeah.
One with it.
To learn this,
Yeah.
because they need it. I mean, can you imagine the power?
And we need the community to rally
Mm-hmm.
for free education, man. You know what? We are, I think, we're the third minority, the third group
Mm-hmm.
in the nation that's, we're third in line spending that much money.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Caucasians spend the most, and then you've got others spend the second, and then we're third in line. So I think we spend something like $3 trillion a year.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
we'll go get Sean John and all that stuff.
Jordans.
We're going to get some rims.
Yes.
But we won't sew into our kids. Man,
Yes.
if
Yes, sir.
everybody in the community just said, okay, everybody in the community of 5,000 people working, say, okay, every month we're going to put $25 away. That's it. $25.
Yes.
$25. dollars You could send 20 kids to college.
If not more.
It's like,
Yeah.
golly, man. But no, we want them rims.
Right.
We want that car we can't afford.
shoes.
Got a Benz, living in an apartment. It's like, God, come on, man.
Right.
Where are our priorities?
Yeah.
You know? And so I look at my kids and I go, wow, I didn't do the greatest job, but I thank God for his mercy and his grace that y'all
Come on,
turned
my brother,
out
Carl.
good.
Come on,
because
sir.
I didn't know then what I know now. But
Yeah.
God,
None of us did.
yeah, God went ahead and he took up the slack for me.
Yeah.
And now my grandkids, I just go, oh my God, I can't believe how much I love y'all. And I
Yes,
pray the
yes.
best for y'all. And that's
Yes.
why the work that you're doing as an educator, author, speaker, and pastor is vital to the youth of our community and all communities.
Dr. Underwood, how many of children do you have at your school?
We have about 150.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
okay.
great.
That's all we can accept. We have no room, and we have a waiting list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you looking
yeah.
to open up other?
Yeah, we're looking at opening up other satellite schools around the country.
Okay.
That's one of the things that BWE. I'm affiliated with Black Women Empowered. I'm their spiritual overseer.
Okay.
And their director, Dr. King, Jacqueline King. That's one of the greatest things on her heart is to open up other schools, just as we talked about, like CPREP, all over the country, and even in other parts of Africa and in the Caribbean.
Well, let me ask you this: in light of all the violence that's going down in Chicago, are you looking to expand in that direction?
That's
to
one of the
impact-
first places I want to go.
Wow.
Okay,
There you go.
okay,
Yeah.
great,
First
great.
places, because we're making something so simple, so difficult,
Right.
because we keep worshiping all the stuff that's working against them, and nobody's told them about what God has placed in them.
That's right.
They've got to understand that they've got personal power. That there's a process by which they can become aware of it and use it in order to change their lives and to influence the lives of others who meet them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and we've got that power.
Yes,
That
we
power,
do.
the same power that raised Christ from the dead resides
sir.
in us. And our
Yes,
spirits
sir.
are in constant communion with the Holy Spirit. It's perfect. And
You know what's so dangerous about what you just said? Listen, I didn't know this until I was halfway through the book, because I preached dunamis power forever. But the Lord told me, He said, you need to go get your strongs. He said, look and see what is the translation for dunamis power. And I found out it's inherent power. It's the same power that we talk about in this book.
Wow.
The inherent power that's in every individual.
Yeah.
It is a power, that an authority, a right that comes with the person, not derived from the power of another.
Wow.
It's what God placed in the person. And to take it from them is to deny them their humanity.
Wow.
That's that Holy Ghost power, that dunamis power that Jesus left each of us.
Inside, we have it.
That's
That's right.
That's why judge no man. Okay, so you're walking down the street and you see a little homeless guy. Man, you don't know who that guy is, who he's to be.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
And so, you know, it's amazing. We live in a big city, and it's changed over the last 20 years, and the homeless population is huge here. You got about 50,000 people on the street here, all over the Atlanta metropolitan area, and you know, somebody asks you, hey man, you know, I'm trying to get $12 to get into the Salvation Army for the night, because it's getting cold here.
Yes, sir.
You know. And people, the first thing people want to do is say, you know, his butt ain't going to go, you know, he going to take that money and go get a drink or go get a rock or he go. Man, you know what? It don't matter what he does with that money. He's asking you. The Bible says there's three things you need to give. If somebody says they're hungry, you need to feed them. If somebody says that they need clothes, you need to clothe them. And if somebody says that they need shelter, you need to provide shelter. And so if you can't let them live in your house, you know, he says, hey, man, can you give me something to get in the Salvation Army? You know, that first thought, he's not going to use that money to get in the Salvation Army.
I see
you need to dismiss
every time
that.
I see an opportunity like that, I'm very careful because I remember some have entertained angels without knowing.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to fail that test.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I think a lot of people, I've heard people say that before.
Wow.
And I think that, you know, when someone says that they need help and then you say, I'm going to pray for you.
Come
I
on.
need some food. I'm going to pray for you.
No.
You are the prayer.
Yeah, you need to take
You are the
immediate
prayer,
action.
or they
That's
wouldn't
right.
have came to you.
Right.
Thank you.
Just go in your refrigerator, in your cabinet, and get what they need.
Say, hey, I ain't got no money for you, but I got some non-perishables
Exactly.
here that I can give you.
That's how it works.
So if there's a guy standing on the corner at the exit of 285, exit 57, and he says, I'm just gonna be honest, I just want money for a beer. That's the guy you don't get no money to.
Right, yeah.
But the guy, because you know. But it's the guy that says, homeless and hungry, you need to look in your ashtray and get that change and give it to him.
You know, and
If
it's
you
so
have it.
powerful because people are so cold-hearted now that we don't care
We
about
don't
each
care.
other the way we should.
You know what? It's funny, too, because I grew up in a big city, and I grew up in D.C., and even in the 70s and 80s, if you were walking down the street, somebody would stop and say, hey, man, you need a ride?
Yep.
Now?
Yep.
Now?
Yep.
You know, and so we dismiss the power of the Spirit in us. And so God will tell you, pick that person up.
That's right.
And you'll say in your mind, the devil is a lie. I ain't gonna get jacked today. You know. Faith. You have to have faith, and you have to know the shepherd's voice.
Divinely
Yes,
orchestrated.
You got to know it.
He'll let you know.
And what did Dr. King say? Without compassion, we have no moral authority to lead.
Wow, that's right. Because you're not gonna care for the people that you're trying to lead.
And that's the tenor of what we have to save our kids from.
Yeah.
Compassion is a serious, serious thing. It's a heavenly quality.
And you know, we've got to really teach our children how to love, because you know the younger generation, they won't even make eye contact with you walking down the street. You know, as a matter of fact, they'll do their best to avoid acknowledging you. And so we were trained opposite. When you see an elder walking down the street,
That's right.
you say, "Good morning, sir."
Right.
Come on
You
with
know,
it.
good morning, ma'am. You know, and smile. If you have nothing to say, just smile. That's saying enough. You know, but see, they have no love in their heart. And so we haven't taught our children how to love because we don't love our children. And so they can't use an example.
There's some
They don't
kids
have an
that have
example.
gone all their lives and they have not heard "I love you."
Yeah, and
Come
so
on.
fathers,
Come
you need
on.
to
Simple,
hug and
I
kiss
love
your
you.
boys. You know,
Yes.
grab
Yes,
that
you
boy
do.
on the way out to school and say, "Yo, man, I love you." Grab him,
Yes.
give him a handshake, nice and firm.
got it.
Pull him
You
to
got
you,
it.
hug him, kiss him on the forehead, and say, "Be safe today, man." You know,
Have
Because
a
we
good
were
one.
created in love.
Yeah.
That's
created
right.
For God's love.
Yeah.
Created from love, and we're maintained by love.
That's right. Yeah, and God is love, and we trying to emulate that.
Right.
And so, the kid might push away. Oh, Dad, yeah, man, but I'm teaching you something. And you'll do the same thing with your kid. And when I'm dead and gone, you'll say, yeah, I remember, my dad used to give me a hug on the way out the door and say you love me.
Did something for him when you did that.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to show it or not,
Right.
it did something on the inside.
Right.
Yes.
And then he'll start practicing that in the street.
And what they hear, Dr. Underwood, they have to be able to hear, good job, you're doing a good job,
Yes.
or you're a good young man, or whatever.
Yes.
It's got to be positiveness put into them.
Yeah, and you say, hey, man, that you got to be last semester in math, man. What's up with this C? Man,
I
you're
know you can do
greater
better.
than that. You're greater than that. Maybe you
it.
just need to spend 30 more minutes with this every time you sit down with it. Just 30 more minutes and reward him.
And we just have to my listening audience, we have to stop making excuses and just, I'm sorry.
Okay. Wow.
Making excuses and whining about the issue and do something about it.
Yeah.
We've got the power to do it.
That's
I
right.
tell my students and my whole staff, this is part of what we do, that if you fail, we fail. So
That's right.
therefore, we are not going to let you fail. And so they don't. I don't care if they have to be in there when other kids are on break, still doing what they refuse to do. We refuse to let them leave.
That's beautiful.
In any grade period without mastering it.
That's
We
right.
refuse to do it.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, so you
it
gonna get
pushes
this,
them. That's
yeah.
exactly, and they can do it. And I like that you said your staff, because I've heard teachers say, "Well, I have 30 kids in my class. How am I supposed to, make sure?" But back in the day, a teacher prided him or herself on all her children passing or excelling. Nowadays, they're like, "Well, I'm gonna get my check," so they don't care.
And if a student doesn't have it within them to ask for help, a good teacher would say, hey, little Johnny, hey, man, you slipping, bro.
Right.
You kind of slipping. I need you to meet me after school. I'm going to go over
That's
some
exactly
things with
it.
you. Yeah, I want to go over some things with you
And
that'll
once
make
they
it
begin-
easier for you.
And once they begin to succeed, guess what? It's contagious. It changes everything about them.
Yeah. Wow.
Everything.
That's
And,
right.
And then in the future, they don't want to be without it.
Right.
And the fact of it is, they know it came from out of them. They produced it.
Right. Wow. Just got to give them the tools to succeed.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love it.
This has been an amazing show, man.
It really has.
And it seemed like we just been on the line for like 5 minutes.
Right.
And the engineer's like, 5 minutes?
Oh, I love this. This is great.
Dr. Underwood,
That's
and I'm
awesome.
so sorry. Can you tell the listening audience how they can get in touch with you? And
Yeah, we
then
need
I'm
that
also
book.
going to reach out to you because I do
Excellent.
want to get the book, and then also to give your contact information to Dr. Alexander.
Right.
Excellent. I love that. Yeah. Now, if they're interested in getting the book, they can go to any bookstore, Barnes and Noble, or either online at Amazon. And as Bumblebees Can Fly, Empowering Young Men of Color.
Wow.
If they want to reach out to me, the prep school's number at Cornerstone College Prep School is area code 260-471-9639.
9639.
Got to get the book, listening audience.
Yes,
Gotta get that book.
Bumblebees Can Fly.
If you love your
fly.
sons and daughters, bumblebees can fly. And I don't see how.
Before I
but
go,
they do.
but let's the three of us together. The Bible says a threefold cord is not evenly severed. Let's say together, we are human bumblebees,
We are human
bumblebees.
and just like the physical bumblebee,
And just like the physical bumblebee,
we can fly.
we
we
can fly.
We fly in our dreams,
We fly in our dreams,
and nothing can stop us.
and nothing can stop us.
Got it.
All right.
I love it.
And we don't need no parachute.
Right.
Wow, it's been an awesome show. Just in case you're just tuning in, you're too late because we're about to sign off. in
Thank
about
you,
3 minutes.
Dr. Underwood, for joining us, and I'm pretty sure in the future we're going to have you on again.
Excellent.
If you-
Excellent.
if
You all
you-
have a great day.
Okay,
Thank
you do the same.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Well, we want to give honorable mention to. Okay, applause. I'm sorry. Sorry, Sky. Okay. Honorable mention to I Am Life T-shirts, to booth for TNT Creations, where the feeling
Of life begins.
begins. You didn't say good morning, my darlings.
Good morning, my darlings.
There you go. Okay. And then Katy, Texas, Greater Works Mission. Candace Ruffin, we love you, girl.
Yep.
Yeah, Pastor, we love you. A Step Above, gently used washers, dryers,
Sofas and chairs.
Yeah. excuse me. And if you're just tuning in,
Yes.
we're sorry we missed you. Mm-hmm. We miss you. And so I want to give a special shout out
To
Gregory B.
Gregory B.
Legally blind.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
just having fun. Hey, Greg, man.
Hey,
how you doing?
Greg.
I'm going to call you, man. And so, wow, it was a great show.
Yes, it was. It was.
And Sky is like, hurry
I
up.
know.
'Cause,
We're going to count down.
okay. And so thank you for joining us on the show today. We want you to know that we are grateful and we love you all.
Yes.
You've been listening to the Kelissa in the Morning Show with your hosts, Kelissa Bass and Jay Parker. We hope you enjoyed the time we spent. Oh my God, spent together this morning. We're confident that you're educated and absolutely inspired. Please tune in next week, same time, same place, 9 o'clock
That's right.
Eastern Standard Time,
That's right.
Thursday
Thursday, 9 to 10.
on WAEC Love 860,
Make it a great day.
Atlanta's inspirational talk radio. Bye.
Good morning.
Thank you for listening to Kelissa in the Morning. Be sure to tune in every Thursday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on WAEC Love 860, Atlanta.